Yep. 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 Tea-time tailgate. 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 Alright, let's get serious for a second here. Let's orient ourselves. Let's see what we're looking at. Thank you for being here with me. I'm really starting to adopt this tea time tailgate look. This look right now, if I feel at home, this is no longer a bit. This is like something that I would want to dress up in. The beater and the sports coat, and then we're coupling that with this beautiful stash that I'm donning on the top of my lip. It feels very good. It feels very right. But before we get into all the fun, let's explain for those who might not know what you're watching. Right here, this shit right here, this shit right here, this shit right here. This is a Tea Time Tailgate. This is your new version of an NFL pregame show. You've seen the Barstool Sports Advisors. You've seen the people over at CBS. You've seen the people over at Fox, at ESPN. I'm not saying they don't do a good job. They do a good job. I've been watching those shows for years, just tickling myself all funny and silly like with those shows every single year. But we are doing something new, something revolutionary. Remember the Revolutionary War? How we had to fight for our rights and make a revolution to become what is currently now? That's what we're in the middle of. Buckle up. Let's get our muskets. Let's get our cannons, because we are on a venture of a revolutionary war with the Tea Time Tailgate. This is your new way to enjoy a football Sunday. I'm your host, Tony Murr. If you are watching this, if you are hearing this, if your eyes are looking at me, then what I can say is you are officially teed up. We are teed up this morning. And what I want this show to be, it's a little bit different, like I'm saying, because it's revolutionary. We can go off the hinge. We can go off the cuff. We can talk about any silly little thing that could possibly cross our minds. And that's what makes this show so special. So we like to talk about best bets of the football, best bets of the football. We like to talk about it, okay? So we do the best bets, we do fantasy football advice. So if you have a precarious situation, I know we're heading into the fantasy football playoffs soon. If you have a precarious situation, put it in the chat. I can answer it for you. But also, I just like to have football Sundays are so important to me, and I know if you're watching, then they're important to you too. So what I like to do is I like to set the stage for what a football Sunday truly means. We're all the way to week 13. This is the 13th Tea Time Tailgate. It feels so good to be with you, but at the same time, you know it's a little bit of a fleeting feeling, because these days, they're numbered. These days are numbered, and it's sad because we have so much fun on our Sundays. So make sure you treasure this. Make sure that you are enjoying every single moment of these, because what's happening right now is we are at the tail end of a long weekend. We just came off of Thanksgiving. Most people, you at least had a half day on Wednesday. I'm not expecting that you put any actual work in on Wednesday. And then you had Thursday off. Then you got Friday off. Then the weekend comes around. And the next thing you know, hold on, let me just switch the orientation a little bit. Perfect. Then the weekend comes along and the days start to get taxing, because you drank, you ate like shit for days on end. These last couple days, there's been nothing. There's been no structure. You can't even really, I'm not eating good. I'm not going to the gym. I'm not getting enough sleep, but I'm enjoying every second of it. Riley, I did not donate to the Children's Hospital, but I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to do that tomorrow on the stream, buddy. Promise you that, okay? What we're doing right now, though, is we're talking about donations to ourselves. Donations, how we can get paid on every single game in this NFL slate. So what I'm saying to you is, let me go back to the sentiment. At this very moment, what you're probably thinking and feeling is, I don't know how much longer I could go. I feel like I need to course correct this Sunday, because I've been doing all the wrong shit. I haven't been doing any of the right shit. I've been eating like shit. I've been drinking a ton. I'm feeling more round and rotund than normal. I'm here to set the record straight. There's two ways that you can do this, and I condone either way. But they make sure either way has an underlying enjoyment underneath it. Okay? So the first way is you go, you know what? Thanksgiving only comes around once a year, and I like to have every single second of fun that I could have on Thanksgiving weekend. And you've already doubled down. You already tripled down. This is you quadrupling down on the Thanksgiving weekend. You can continue to have beverages. You can continue to eat like shit. And you are trying to milk this weekend for everything it's worth. I condone that. I can't necessarily say that's my own sentiment though, because this is the other way that you can go. There's a fork in the road, but either way, you end up in the destination of a great football Sunday. So there's a fork, but it comes back in the same location. The other way that you can do this is ultimate chill and relaxation. You probably have been on go mode since Thursday. You drive into this family member's house. You drive into this in-laws. You're doing errands. And then next thing you know, Friday comes around. I need to enjoy that. Saturday's around. I need to enjoy that too. Let's take a breath. Let's take a breath and just enjoy today. Today seems like a perfect day to be on the couch all damn day long. Get your most comfortable blanket, get your most perfect setup on the couch. You want to have food involved, but maybe instead of going for the cheeseburger and chicken wings, maybe you get a salad. But it's like a buffalo chicken salad. You're not fully on the health train yet, but you're making baby steps. So it's like a buffalo chicken finger salad. You feel a little bit better than if you were to get a cheeseburger or a cheesesteak. So those are the two options for today. I don't care which one that you are taking as long as you are enjoying every single moment of it. I think I'm going to be finding a very, very nice and comfortable spot on the couch. What I'm struggling with is my cuisine choice, and this kind of goes into my decision last night. Got back last night late, and I got some Burger King down the street. Oh my God, this is need to I need to talk about Burger King for a second because I was motherfucking this place. I was saying this place isn't very good. They had a Burger King down the street, and I'm like, no one likes Burger King. Then they redid it. They redid it to make it nicer than it was for some reason. They made renovations to it, and I was like, this is a complete waste of time, energy, and money. But then it's 2 a.m. and what food is around other than Burger King? I find myself at this Burger King. Oh my God, more respect needs to be put on the Burger King name. It was those frame broiled patties. They're good. They taste like real food. I got a cheeseburger from there. No, I got I got way too much. First of all, listen to this order. I got the double snack wrap meal. Let me tell you something. Their snack wraps are terrible. I got two. They were both honey mustard. Only ate one of them. Couldn't eat the second one. Then I got it was a small burger. It was the Rodeo burger or Rodeo burger. It had fried onion rings on it and barbecue sauce. Very tasty. But then I get to the bacon burger. This thing is a behemoth of a burger. This thing is absolutely friggin' massive. I took 2 bites into it. Next thing I know, I wake up on the couch. It's right next to me. It's right next to me. I didn't even get to finish the whole thing. But the point of my story is that Burger King is better than you think. Get to your local Burger King today. That could be the recipe. But so I had that late night last night. So obviously you can imagine, not really feeling my healthiest right now. And I'm wondering, where do I go from here? Where is this cuisine? Do I continue to double down and get worse and worse? Do I go back for more Burger King? Or do I take a step back into normalcy a little bit and maybe go with the salad? It's a buffalo chicken finger salad, but it still has the word salad in it. If you're in the comments, let me know which way I should go with it, because I really don't know. All right, so that's enough of my preamble as to how we're going to be spending this day. But it's very important that you pay attention to that, because it's a very important day. It's week 13 of the NFL, so we need to take this seriously. We need to continue to do the right thing at the right time so we can enjoy every single moment that we can. There's not too many weeks of NFL Sundays, so please enjoy every single one that you can to the fullest. Sorry, need a little bit of water. Okay, let's get to the football because there's money to be made today. I was going through my picks this morning, as I typically do before the tea time tailgate, and I was getting very, very nervous. Reason being is because I think I have the squarest board of all time. If you are a follower of Tea Time, I'm on a little bit of a skid. On a little bit of a skid, a little bit of a cold streak, trying to get my footing back, and it doesn't feel that I feel like the biggest, probably Madison Square Garden. I'm feeling that big of a square with my current card. I'm going to get into it, but I want to give you that little assumption and prelude into it that it's feeling very square. Maybe someone needs to talk me into the right direction. All right, so we're going to go, as we always do, as you would always start with the 1 o'clock slate. This is somehow always the first game that I talk about. The Atlanta Falcons, I always, for some reason, when I go into my FanDuel, they're always the first team that's listed. Is it because it's Atlanta? Is it an alphabetical situation? Nonetheless, it's the Atlanta Falcons against the New York Jets. The New York Jets are +3 at home. The over-under is 38.5. That's a low over-under. Neither of these teams are very good, so I can kind of understand why the over-under is that low. The Falcons look pretty good last week. Kirk Cousins, man in the helm, he seems to get his feet underneath him a little bit. The Jets, on the other hand, they are not trying to win games. The Falcons, maybe they're trying to have some semblance of hope and maybe have a mediocre record for their mediocre season, or maybe a little bit subpar from mediocre. The Jets, on the other hand, they have no problem losing these games. Their season has been done weeks ago. So these games don't mean too much to them, but when it comes down to football, you must have seen the Tea Time Tailgate last week, our first live show. Shout out to the coach. I mean, it doesn't feel quite the same not being at the American Beer Hall again, but here we are. The show must go on no matter the location. Um, so so going back to what I was saying, the Jets last week, they couldn't really get much going either. They only scored 10 points. They had Tyrod Taylor playing. I don't really expect them to care. I think the Falcons still care. Oh, what I was saying was that during the Tea Time Tailgate last week with the coach, these are still high caliber athletes that want to win games. These are the highest competitors that you can really find in any field. That's how they make themselves onto an NFL field. So even though the record in the season has not been up to snuff, up to par for them, they're still going to be trying. So you got to give them that. I'm kind of talking back. I'm kind of talking back on my take, but I'm still going to go with it. My first square play of the day, I like the Falcons -3. I think they're playing for a little bit more of something. I think their defense is pretty good. And I think they're just a better team than the Jets. I really don't see why the Jets would even want to win this game. They're going to be trying. It's going to be close. The 3 is going to get a little dicey, but I'm still going to go with the Falcons. Mikey O, give me what you need help with. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, buddy. This is almost like a pre-NFL therapy session, what we got going on. And I always do this to start too. Like I said, it's almost always the Atlanta Falcons. And when you want to get your feet under you to start the NFL slate, to start the NFL football Sunday, you want to get something that you want to get on the board. You want to see one go through the hoop. You want to get your confidence up. And the way to do this against a shitty Jets defense is a Bijan Robinson touchdown. It's -150. You might not want to give up the money like that, especially with Algier in there, but I can imagine almost both of them being involved. So I'm going to go with the B. Robinson touchdown. It just feels right. Oh, we already got a little bit of head-to-head clashing in the chat right now. We want to fade Mikey O. We want to fade his early picks and then get on one of those late ones. I think that's the correct way to play it. But tell me, local meat shop and Mikey O, tell me what you guys like today. Tell me the questions that you need answered. Hopefully, I can help you. So that's the first game of this slate. Falcons, Jets. I have the Falcons -3, and I got a Bijan Robinson touchdown. That feels so square. Like those are just so like if people have watched just like one Falcons game this year, that's what they would pick. They this is the guy that knows nothing about the NFL. Those are the exact picks that he would have. But hopefully everything's just seeing very clearly right now. We don't really need to go into the bushes and make things more complicated than they are. Hopefully I can just see this right in front of me and it's showing exactly what I need to see. We like the Falcons too. The local meat shop, he likes the Falcons. Okay, we're on the right page here. We're on the right page. I don't know if it's a we're on the same page. I don't know if it's the right page. Um, so we are going to the next game here. This is a game that I really love. This is a game that I'm going to want to double and triple down on. It's going to be a stinky game, but some stink is better than others. It's the New Orleans Saints at the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are -5.5 at home. The over/under is 41.5 points. I have 4 bets for this game. That is how much I like this. Um, that I mean, that's the exact sentiment that I was feeling. Mikey Poods is yes. Like if someone if they've seen 1 second of Falcons and Jets football, that's the exact pick that they would have for this game. But sometimes it's the thing that's right in front of you is the right thing. But going back to this game, I really love this game. I'm giving you 4 bets on this game. I like the over 41.5. I think the Saints. There's nothing good about this Saints team. They don't have a good offense. They don't have a good defense. I think Miami's offense is pretty good. I think their defense is okay. I think they're kind of finding a stride right now. They're a team that they don't care about their draft pick. They want to have a mediocre record so they can look back and say, we weren't that bad. We weren't that bad. Some guy who's close to me, he said, watch out for the Dolphins to make a run in the late part of the season. So I got the over 41.5. I can see the Dolphins scoring 4 touchdowns today. I like the Dolphins -5.5. I think I agree with my friend. I think we are moving. The Dolphins are moving in a good direction. I think the Saints are one of the worst teams in the NFL. There's nothing good about this Saints team. It's like this Saints team is the kid in the neighborhood that your mom told you to never hang out with. Oh, those New Orleans Saints, nothing good with those New Orleans Saints. When you're hanging out with the New Orleans Saints, your mom knows exactly what you're doing. You're getting up to no good. So you don't want to be associated with this Saints team at all. So the third pick, this is a pick that I also love. This is the immediate satisfaction, the immediate scratch of the itch pick. We got the Dolphins -1.5 in the first quarter. This is where the Dolphins, I think they're coming off a bye. They did not play last week. I think they are going to score on their first drive. And I cannot imagine the Saints returning the favor. They might score 3. This is basically saying the Dolphins -1.5 in the first quarter is basically the Dolphins going to win this first quarter. I like that play. Dolphins -1.5 in the first quarter. And this is a guy who's coming back. I need to write down the odds because I remember him. That's how locked in I am. This is a guy that's coming back off the IR. This is a guy that they were finding in the end zone when he was playing. This is a guy that is very strange and weird. He has rap songs that he says, you gotta pass me the ball, I'm always fucking open, something like that. He had a rather messy breakup with a WNBA player, Kelsey Plum. She seems very strange, but hot and strange. That could go either way. Being strange is a catalyst, so it could make you worse. It could make you better. I just all I think about when I think of Kelsey Plum is that video of her looking very annoying eating popcorn on the side. Like I don't know what it was, but that was like nails on a chalkboard for me. Coming back to where this rant started, it's Darren Waller. He's gonna find pay dirt. I imagine him finding the end zone. He could find 2 today. I could even see that. But him plus 220, that's good value. I really like him to find some end zone today. So I got Darren Waller plus 220 on him. Let's see what else we got. So those 4 bets, and they're all it's Dolphins top to bottom. Over 41.5. Dolphins -5.5. Dolphins -1.5 in the first quarter and a Darren Waller touchdown. This is a game that I almost feel the best about betting on. We are moving on. We are moving up. We are progressing through the day. It is the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Carolina Panthers. Panthers plus 10.5 at home. The over/under 44.5. So, being that I am Tony Merck and I have this show called Tea Time, where I basically watch all the primetime games with a fine-tooth comb. It was last week. It was Monday Night Football, I think. Yes, it was. And it was the Carolina Panthers against the 49ers. The Panthers, they have a good defense, but they're really not a good team. They're scrappy. Like their record is kind of right where they're at. They're right down the middle. They're a team that can find a couple wins, but It's not a team that is up to the caliber as the Los Angeles Rams, who are scorching hot right now. They're a team that you couldn't even put your hands on because you're gonna get them burnt. And the Panthers, they make mistakes. They can't get out of their own way. I really don't see a world where the Rams don't win this game and they win it largely. They come out swinging too. The Panthers defense is a little bit better than you would expect. They were making some good plays against the 49ers last week. I almost like, I don't know if someone's watching this right now, if someone could tell me what the Rams first half over under or the first half spread would be. I really like that too, but my pick in this game is the Rams minus 10.5. I can see them scoring 4 touchdowns in the first half. I can see this being an absolute rout. If you saw them against the Bucks last week in prime time, there's no stopping them right now. Matt Stafford is on a mission, and he is feeling himself so much he's making throws that he shouldn't throw. He's making throws that shouldn't work, and they still work. So I like him today, and this is a guy that has found the end zone so many times. You almost don't want to bet it because this keeps happening, and like you're like, it's got to stop at some point. It's got to stop at some point. I don't think it's anytime soon. This is whenever they're within the 5 yard line or more. This is a guy that they're looking to get into the end zone. While I'm going through this pick, I'm kind of going back on it. All right, so I'm gonna give 2 picks because I like this. You knew where I was going with this. It's Devontae Adams. I think he's gonna get another touchdown, but so many touchdowns have been going his way that I think they need to reward the guy who's been getting them all the way up and down the field, all to the red zone. And when you play an inferior team and you're really starting to clown on them, these NFL teams, they care about players' egos. It's like you don't think that they would try to feed the ball to someone that's maybe coming back from injury or getting like an incentive if they catch this. They care about that shit. So I'm going to throw a Nakua touchdown in there as well because it's been all Devontae Adams. I don't think Nakua has scored recently. They try to get him the ball in the end zone, but it's really just a Devontae Adams show. I like Nakua getting in there because I really think the Rams are going to bring it to the Panthers north, south, east, and west. Every way you look at it, this is going to be Rams, Rams, Rams. It's a game that you're not going to want to watch either because it's going to be utter dominance and it's going to be over in the second quarter. I think I need to. I'm gonna look this up. Yeah, I can look it up. I will look it up. Let's see. I'm not gonna log back in. I just want to look at something. What is the spread of? It's probably minus. Oh, it moved. It moved since I did this an hour ago. Money's going towards the Panthers. The Panthers are plus 9.5 right now. Like I said, in this game, in the 3 games that I have picked so far, the 3 games I went over, I have every single favorite. Sounds good, right? Sounds like a recipe for success. Let's see the first half spread. First half, minus 6.5 for the Rams. I think that is as good as money as you'll ever find. I really think they can score 3 touchdowns to a Panthers 1 touchdown. I like that a lot. I'm gonna write that down for myself. Rams first half. Rams minus 6.5 first half. If you think I'm not locked in, when you put pen on paper, that is the ultimate sign that you are locked in, fellas, and maybe the ladies out there. So we're moving on. We're moving up, and we are progressing, like I just said. Okay. All right. Next play. Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals at the Tampa Bay Bucks. Bucks minus 3.5 at home. Over under 44.5. So when I was looking at this game, if you watched that Bucks game last Sunday night against the Rams, we were just talking about it. They had no fucking shot. It was over after the first quarter. Baker Mayfield is hurt. He's seriously hurt. I'm scared about how hurt he is because the Tampa Bay Bucks, they looked like a potential Super Bowl favorite a couple weeks ago, and now people are saying, are they even going to win their division because the Panthers are just a half game behind them. So I was looking at this game and I was thinking the Bucks are gonna win. The Cardinals are, when we talk about fool's gold, Cam Newton style. The Cardinals are fool's gold. When Jacoby Brissett came in, everyone was trigger happy with them. Oh, they might be good. They might be good. They're doing just enough to lose games. They stay in games, but they're doing just enough to lose. They don't win games still. And the Jacoby Brissett aura, his little glimmer that he has, as a Patriots fan that's seen him quarterback our team in the past, it goes away. And each game that you trot him out there, it goes more and more away. So I think his magic is ending soon. Let's see what Mikey has to say. Cardinals were +4 in turnovers last week and still couldn't cover. They stink. So we're on the same page. We're on the same page. So I was looking at this game and looking at the previous 3 games where I picked the favorite. I like the Bucks in this game. I really do. They need to get right. They've been on a skid. They've been on a serious skid, and against a shitty team, this is a time to get right. But I just felt bad taking another. I couldn't pick 4 favorites in a row. It just didn't sit right with me. I can see there being points in this game. I don't think the Cardinals' defense is that great. I think the Bucks' offense is good. And when I talk about getting right, they've been on such a skid that they need to find the end zone a few times. So I think they're going to bust it open. They're going to get back to their basics and do what they know, what they can do best. We're going to get Igbuka involved. I think Bucky Irving, he's coming back this week. And speaking of Bucky, you might as well buck up and do the right thing. Bucky Irving, like I was kind of saying earlier, he's coming back from injury. He is their main back. I can imagine him getting in the end zone today, and it's pretty good value, +180. I feel like typically a Bucky Irving game where he's playing, he's probably around minus or like +100, +110. To get him +180, I like that. So we're going to throw a Bucky Irving touchdown in there along with the over. And we're making our way through the 1 o'clock slate. We went through 4 games. There's 3 games left in this 1 o'clock slate. We're halfway through the show right now. So I just want to say, if you are watching, or you are out there and you are staying teed up with the Tea Time Tailgate, from the bottom of my heart and from the top of it too, I want to say thank you because I appreciate you. All right, moving on. This is a game that I love. This is a game that I love. I got to shout out Mike Poudre, former guest of the Tea Time Tailgate. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Tennessee Titans. Titans +5.5. Over under 41.5. This is their interdivision matchup. This is the AFC West, or no, sorry, AFC South. A stinky, stinky division. It always has been. But my Jaguars, hold on. If you're a fan of the Tea Time Tailgate, you know that I love me some Jacksonville Jaguars. That's a team that I love to bet on. I bet them to win their division earlier this year, and they're only 1 game out as the current standings sit. So, and it was plus about 300. So I love that bet. I mean, either way, it's just a fun bet to continue with this season. And I've been the Jaguars. I'm just picking my spots with the Jaguars. The Titans actually looked decent last week. They were able to score on Seattle, and Seattle's got a good defense. These are 2 teams who I believe have bad defenses, though. The Cardinals were able to score a lot on the Jaguars last week. Titans were able to score a lot. I love betting on these games. Holy shit. Hurting a little bit right now. So what we're going with, we have a couple plays in this one. I love the over in this game. It's 41.5. This is a game where every once in a while, I think Vegas can trip over themselves. They put something out there mistakenly, and they just try to throw the fans, the bettors, off the scent. And they're throwing out a 41.5, thinking they're gonna bet the under, because why is it this low? It's so low that we get to bet the under. These 2 teams are not very good, and when these teams are not very good, I think there's going to be points. I think the ball is going to be able to move up and down the field. I'm expecting points in this one. I'm going the over 41.5. This is a guy that is coming back from weeks of injury. What was I going to say? Sorry. This is a guy, so there's 2 guys on the Jacksonville Jaguars that are coming back from injury this week. It is Brenton Strange, good old B Strange from earlier episodes of Tea Time Tailgate, and B Thomas. Sometimes you get a B Strange and then you got a B Thomas, as in Thomas Jefferson. He is on the dollar bill. I think he is, right? I gotta look this up now. What bill? Thomas Jefferson, he's on the $2 bill, so we're feeling lucky. Oh, I love this play even more. So you have to be strange, and then sometimes you have to beat Thomas, make yourself a lucky $2 bill. He's coming back from injury. They want to show him you're still the guy around here. Over 3.5 catches for Brian B. Thomas Jr., BTJ, they like to call him. I also like Be Strange in this game as well. I think they're going to give him the ball. He's plus 300 for a touchdown. I can see him getting in the end zone. Let's see what Ryan Mack has to say coming from the X app, the Everything app. The people want to know, are you sore from yesterday's Keith Lenane, Marb Red, Miller Lite Bowl game? The hammy feels a little bit better than I had imagined. I tweaked the hammy, but I was playing very smart, very strategic. My team lost. I was making business decisions from the hammy tweak on. It's feeling better than I thought because I did not strain myself after. I tweaked it. I didn't pull it, but it's tight. It's tight in the back of the leg. I don't know how this happens because I was playing a little bit of QB yesterday. I was making throws with my right shoulder. The left shoulder is a little bit sore. I have a feeling the soreness is really going to kick up a notch tomorrow. So let's see here. Oh, we're going back to this game because I need to give a special and specific shout out to someone who's in the chat. He's a tea time lover. He's been on the damn show before. He deserves his respect. I want my respect, goddamn. This is a guy, he says, I have a touchdown pick for you today, and I feel so good about it, you gotta call me on the phone. So you know I'm giving this guy a call. I said, who is this? He goes, it's Mikey Poudre, coming from the state of Connecticut, that rectangular looking state that people are unsure about, but I'm sure about this pick. He tells me, he goes, I don't know if you know this, but this is a guy who's been on the practice squad for the Tennessee Titans. He played with the quarterback of the Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward, at the University of Miami and held the receptions record. He got pulled up last week, made a couple grabs, almost got in the end zone. I'm seeing some serious value at him plus 1,000 to get in the end zone. And I said, I had the over in that game anyways, so this is going to work out perfectly. When you tell me to get on the phone with you, I'm taking that call. I'm riding with you. And the great thing about it is we either ride all the way to riches or I get to motherfuck this guy. So it's a win-win for me. Mikey, thank you for the pick. And I'm going to give you your shout out where it's due. We got the next game going on here. 49ers at the Browns. Browns plus 5.5, over under 35.5. That is rude. 35.5. I really never seen anything like this before. I think there's supposed to be some weather in Cleveland, but either way, for teams that only get... What do you mean I didn't give the pick? Oh, Mike, I'm sorry. Thank you for keeping me right. I'm embarrassed because I consider myself to be a professional. and I can't even finish the thought. I can't even finish the thought. I'm gonna say the name, okay? All right, the chat's keeping me honest, and deservingly so. I'm embarrassed. I'm getting a little red in the face right now. It's Xavier Restrepo, okay? I thought it gave enough context clues that people would know, but for the ball knowers out there, it's Xavier Restrepo plus 1,000 to get a touchdown today. Xavier Restrepo, Miami's finest, pulled up from the practice squad for the second straight game. He's going to get a couple catches today, and I think one of those catches is going to result in 6 points. I'm sorry, okay? Thank you. And these my guys, they're keeping me honest. If you missed it, there it is right there. There it is right there. Oh man, the brain is a wonderful and magnificent and magical thing. And sometimes it doesn't make sense, and these guys are into fill the cracks. So there's a major crack in that line of thinking. These guys are right there. So going back to the game of the 49ers at the Browns, the Browns last week, they had a good win. Shadur Sanders getting in there. He gets a win, but it was against the lowly Las Vegas Raiders, one of the worst teams in the NFL. If not the worst team, I would probably go Raiders, Saints, two worst teams in the NFL, Jets next. The 49ers, on the other hand, they looked horrible in a win over a so-so Carolina team, 20-9. I think a lot of people are remembering those 4 or 3 picks that Brock Purdy looked through last week. He was not looking good at all. Oh my God. If they didn't pay him all that money, he deserved to get pulled for Mac Jones. Mac Jones has looked better this season than Brock Purdy. I don't know if it's just because of the injury, but I don't think there's a big difference between those two quarterbacks. This is a game that I left blank because I could not decide on it. I was going back and forth on it. The over-under being so this is my line of thinking, where the over-under being 35.5, they're not expecting many points in this game at all. And to be getting 5.5 points at home, that's a lot of points. And if you're not expecting that many points in this game, they only lose by a field goal. They only lose by a field goal. That they're covering right there. So I feel like I didn't feel great about this, but I'm picking the Browns. I'm falling into the Shadur hype. They won me money last week, so I'm going to continue to ride that gravy train. The 49ers, they're a team that has been good for a long time, so they find ways to win. I think they win this game. I would put almost all my money on them winning this game, but the Browns, I think, could cover, and I think we're just going to have fun rooting for Shadur Sanders. So I'm going with the Browns here. And then I saw a value pick that I had to include. I was looking at the stat lines from the Browns game last week. Even though Shadur Sanders got the win, he did not have great stats. There was not one player with over 2 receptions besides this one guy. And he's a guy that can slither and slime his way into finding a little crevice. He's a big individual that can fit himself into a little crevice. Don't get creepy now. Don't get creepy. This is Harold Fannin Jr. plus 500 to get a touchdown. I don't really see the Browns getting over 2 touchdowns in this game. I think one of them is going to be Judkins. The other one is probably going to be Harold Fannin. Plus 500, there's a lot of value in that. So I'm going to go with that. And that was my first underdog that I chose today. So it's getting a little less square around here. But if you really think about it, if you think about what feels like the square pick here, it feels like the Browns are the square pick. And I haven't really seen any non-square picks that I picked, but sometimes squares win. It depends on the hole that we're looking at today, fellas. Are we looking at a circular hole? Are we looking at a square? Is this peg gonna fit? That will be determined in probably about an hour or so. We're going to the last game. The last game of the 1 o'clock slate. It's the Texans at the Colts. The Colts are -3. The over-under is 44.5. This is another AFC South matchup. The 4 AFC South teams are playing each other today, and there's a lot at stake because the 3 teams at the top, the Titans are out of it, but it goes Colts, Jags, Texans. I think either of those teams could win the AFC South. I think the Colts, maybe they're sliding a little bit. They did play the Chiefs, but maybe they're sliding just a little bit. The Texans, their defense is looking like the best defense in the NFL. When I was watching them recently going against the Bills, they were all over Josh Allen, and that makes me very scared for Daniel Jones. I think he's dealing with some sort of minor fracture in his leg. I saw some Twitter doctor say it. So I'm kind of believing this guy. He had PT, DPT in his bio or his name. So that is a doctor of physical therapy. I don't know if that video is circling around a lot. That's influencing a lot of bettors' decisions. -3 kind of shows that Vegas doesn't really know what's going to happen in this game either. It's kind of like a who's who in this game. Who's real? Who's real? The real will rise to the top in this game. The real will reveal itself in this game. I got the Texans here. I like the Texans +3. Based on how their defense looked, I really think Daniel Jones is going to be under duress all day. They're hot. They're playing hot right now, so you got to watch out for a hot team. It's like a hot horse in a tea time horse race. They're unstoppable to a certain degree. I have 3 picks for this game. Under 44 and a half. I don't think there's going to be many points in this game. 44 and a half. My prediction for a score is 21-17 in favor of the Texans. That's not bad. I don't think they're going to get 3 touchdowns. I'm going to go 20-16 in favor of the Texans. How's that sound? So that's my second pick. I got the Texans +3. I got the under 44 and a half. And I have over on this guy. So when we talk about down in distance, when we talk about a quarterback that's going to be under duress, that's going to be under pressure, what is he going to do while he's under that pressure? Is he going to rise to the top? I think he's going to slink away. I think Daniel Jones is the type of guy that he sees pressure. Hey, I want all that smoke. hey, I liked when we were front running. Now that we're going into a little bit of a playoff picture, I don't know if I'm ready for all that pressure that the D line of the Texans is going to be bringing today. So what I'm going to do, because I'm ducking pressure, is I'm going to throw some dink and dunk passes. I need to get it to a guy open in space, let him do the work. Let me make a quick pass, and you know who does this? We're talking about downs and distance. First down, second down, third down, you're going to pass it to this guy. It's Josh Downs, over 3.5 grabs. I like that one today too. So that wraps up the 1 o'clock slate. We have about 17 minutes left in the show. I think we are making good timing. Let's check the text messages here. Okay, we're good. We're doing exactly what we need to at exactly the right times. So what I always like to talk about is when you go from the 1 o'clock to the 4 o'clock slate, don't do it half-assed. Don't do it without a strategy. You need to know how you should be thinking and feeling going into that 4 o'clock slate, because what's going to happen is you're going to be looking down at your phone. You're going to be scrolling through it. Next thing you know, your Sunday's over. You're going to work tomorrow. So let's get our heads out of our asses and decide what we're doing, because I'm going to tell you exactly how you're going to spend it. Like we talked about this day, it's a tale of 2 potential stories, and they end up in the same spot. And the same spot that it ends up, so it's a fork in the road, ends up in the same spot. The spot that it ends up in is this 4 o'clock slate. Whether you're going ham, you're having all the food that you'd like, having a couple beverages during the 1 o'clock slate, or if you're sitting on the couch, just relaxing during the 1 o'clock slate. Either way, during the 4 o'clock slate, you're heading back to the couch. You're going to end up on the couch. You're going to say, I did enough this weekend. I deserve this time on the couch. Let me relax. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your 4 o'clock bets in before the 4 o'clock game starts. You're going to want to get them in before the 1 o'clock game starts. And what you're going to do is you put your phone, because that phone, it can really stimulate you. It can overwhelm you because, oh, I like this. Oh, I like this. I like the live bet this. How's my fantasy team doing? How's my other bets doing? We need to remove ourselves from that situation. We're going to put the phone in a spot where you would have to get up off of your couch seat to go get it. And that's going to de-incentivize you from even going over to your phone. So it's a little bit of separation, but it's for ultimate relaxation. That's how I'm going to want you to play this. This is how I'm going to want you to play the 4 o'clock slate of Week 13. And we're going to go to the first game. We're going to the first game of the 4 o'clock slate. It is the Vikings from Minnesota at the Seahawks, minus 11.5 for the Seahawks. It's a lot of points. That is the biggest spread of the day today. Seahawks were minus 13.5 last week against the Titans. Over under 41.5. This is a game where the spread's so big that I don't like it. I want to stay away from it. We got Brosmer, a UNH superstar, I'd probably say. Probably the best football player to come from UNH. He's manning the helm for quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. We have another soft benching going on. People can have concussions for 3 weeks at a time. And after his performance last week and basically bringing a knife to the heart of your season, he better not see the light of day, Kevin O'Connell. We don't have a new number that sucks, that he hates. What's a terrible? 19. 19 is a terrible quarterback number. Give him that number. So let's make this easy for our basically third string quarterback. We don't want to make anything hard for him, and we want to make our wide receiver 1, Justin Jefferson, happy. So let's get him open. 11 and a half. I would probably side with the Vikings on this one. I think they're going to probably keep it closer. The Seahawks are a better team no matter who's the quarterback of this Vikings team. I think they win this game by 11 and a half, not so much, but that's not my pick. My pick is the over in this game, over 41 and a half. I think that the Titans were able to score on the Seahawks so easily last week. I think the Vikings can at least get 17-ish points. I don't think that let's see what Mikey O's saying. He's on the BTJ catches too. Uh, were you on that before? Were you on that before? We're two guys, Mike, that are forced to like BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr., because we drafted him so early. So us betting on him is still showing faith when we really should have dropped his ass, not in the literal fantasy football sense, but in the figurative dropping of him a long time ago because he hasn't done us very, very much good this year. Going back to this game, Vikings Seahawks, I can imagine about 17-ish. And for some reason, for some reason, when a new quarterback is going into the game and he's heavily doubted, they don't think they can do much. That's where I want to bet him at his lowest. Where Brosmer, this guy played at UNH, he was backing up JJ McCarthy. He must really suck. Over 175 and a half passing yards for the young fella. I think he does it. I can imagine Justin Jefferson having a big day today. They're going to get him the ball a lot. He's going to have a lot of grabs. Maybe not a lot of yards, but a lot of grabs. I might want to do Jefferson receiving. Receptions. Jefferson. That two notes that I've made from making these pick, two live notes. Jefferson receptions and Rams first half -6.5. You want to throw those on the card as well. Those aren't official picks, but they're just some that pique my interest the more that I talk about these games. Next game, this is the piece. This is the game. So my game of the week was Colts and Texans. This is the game of the 4 o'clock slate. This is the Buffalo Bills at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh +3 at home, over under 45.5 points. Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing this game with a broken left wrist. That seems to be a very difficult task for a quarterback. I mean, it's not his throwing wrist, but either way, you're going to be using that wrist to some degree. You fall on that wrist bad one time trying to brace your fall, you're probably out of the game. So that's a scary proposition that he's going to be playing. What you always got to look for is Mike Tomlin as a home underdog. Those are usually spots where the Steelers step up for some reason, when they're heavily doubted, when no one thinks they're going to win. The Bills, on the other hand, they've been skidding, they've been sliding, they've been looking like a skid mark in your shorts. They're looking like a little bit of poopy left over, and it keeps growing, the skid mark. It was just a little one, and the next thing you know, it's the end of the day, and it looks like a whole ass crack of skid. I'm sorry to make it gross and graphic like that, but let's call a spade a spade. They're looking quite shitty, this Bills team, and you're wondering, are they even what we think they are? Are they even good? So a lot of question marks in this game. I feel like this is a Tomlin spot where they're heavily doubted, the Steelers, and they're underdog at home. That's almost a formula to always bet the Steelers. I'm not going to do it because I can't go there with this Steelers team. I don't know what I'm going to get out of them. They're frustrating. I feel for the Steelers fans. What I'm going to go with is, this is adding to my squarish card. I like the over in this game. I got the over in both these 4 o'clock games so far. Over 45.5. I don't think the Bills defense is very good. They have a lot of injuries. I don't think the Steelers defense is very good. Both teams are going to be on a mission. The fact that they have Aaron Rodgers even going out there, I think they're going to be teams that can score points pretty easily. Over 45.5. And I like this guy to find the end zone. This is just a simple play. Also, maybe a square play. He is the lowest odds of anyone to get a touchdown in this game, but still feels good to do. I like James Cook. Get it in there. +105. He's a great back. I don't think the Steelers defense is very good. I think they can just hand him the ball, and he'll just cross the end zone. He'll just happen to do that, and we just happen to make money because we press a couple buttons on our cellular device. How fun is that? Next thing you know, you press a couple more buttons, you're doing a dance in your money. You're doing the Macarena in your money. Okay? Okay, now. Coming to close to the conclusion of the show. We have two more games. It's the Raiders at the Chargers. Chargers minus 9.5. Over under 40.5. I don't have this pick, but I love this pick, and maybe the reason I don't have this pick is because it would be the third over that I pick in this 4 o'clock slate. But the Raiders have such a bad defense. I don't know how the fuck the Chargers don't score a bunch of points on them. The Browns scored 24 points against them last week. You think that the Chargers, they would at least score 28, 4 touchdowns, and this is an AFC West matchup. This is an interdivision matchup, and these two teams hate each other. I don't know why there's a little animosity between these two, but Pete Carroll and Harbaugh, these are two hard-bodied coaches in the fact that they have a lot of chutzpah, they have a lot of enthusiasm, they have a lot of oomph. And for those reasons, they butt heads. They butt heads. They don't like each other. Also, a little bit of a tidbit is in December of 2023, so about 2 years ago, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but the Raiders beat the Chargers 63 to 21 or 22. Since then, the Chargers have beaten the Raiders by double digits every single game since then, and it's been 4 games. So I think even without the coaches, there is obviously that rivalry between these two teams. So I wrote down Raiders in this because I thought I had Raiders plus 9.5, just because I'm thinking to myself, this is too much for an interdivision matchup. I think the Chargers are so much better than the Raiders. What scares me is that they just fired their OC, so I'm going to see, this is all the shit you guys are seeing it in live time. This is all the shit that was going through my brain when I was trying to make this pick, because the Raiders, they just fired their OC, and Chip Kelly, does that springboard this offense? Because a bad OC could really confuse and twist the wires of an offense where they're almost paralyzed and they can't do anything. The fact that they don't have him anymore, I still like the Chargers. This is just a pure animosity play. This is the Chargers coming off a bye. I like the Chargers minus 9.5 in this game. Oh, and look at this. I'm giving this to you too. This is the Chargers minus 2.5 for the first quarter. For God, I did that. Still like it. I think the Chargers win the first quarter. They might score 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Minus 2.5. Oh, and I like this bet, which kind of goes to me liking this over. A touchdown to be scored in each quarter of this game. There's fun bets. If you just look around FanDuel and you kind of just scroll around, you're just having a little field day, having a little party with yourself and your cell phone. You can look at and find some fun bets in FanDuel. A touchdown in each quarter of this game. I like that. I kind of want to see what those odds would be like for each of these games. But this game, it's plus 230 on that. I think that's fun. 1 touchdown. I honestly think the Chargers can score 1 touchdown in every quarter. I really do. All right, so I mean, that's Chargers left, right, center on that one. Going to the last game of the day, the night game, the 8 o'clock game, waiting all day for Sunday night game. Broncos at Commanders plus 6.5 for the Commanders at home. Over under 43.5. The Commanders are bad. They're coming off a bye, but they are bad. The Broncos, on the other hand, they are good. This is a game where the schedule makers in the NFL, they were looking at this game. They were kind of licking their chops. They're like, tasty. We got Commanders, Broncos late in the season. Then one crucial injury happens to the quarterback, the star player of the Commanders, and their season goes to shit. So this game is going to suck. This game is going to suck. They have a horrible offense. They have a horrible team, the Commanders. They're not the Commanders of last year, I'll tell you that. They have a horrible team. The Broncos have a good team. I don't see the Commanders' terrible offense and Mariota being able to score any points on the Broncos. I like the Broncos minus 6.5. This is a game that you're not going to want to watch. I'll tell you that much. And when it comes to prime time and it comes to teams, well, there's a couple factors that go into this equation. 1, this is a guy that shows up for primetime games. 2, when you are a shitty offense going against a good defense, you look for safety valves. You look for handy guys that you can trust to get the ball to, and you look for veterans. And you look for a specific position, the tight end. For all those reasons, I like Zach Ertz to catch over 3.5 grabs in the night game today. So Broncos 6.5 over Zach Ertz grabs over 3.5. And that's going to wrap up my picks for the slate of Sunday games today. I have two more things for you. I have my fantasy start and sit. And before I get to that, I have my mortal lock. So this is where I get serious with you guys. I unplug for a second. I take off the glasses. Hold on. We got AXCs in here. Start two. I will answer your fantasy football question, but just respect, I'm going to my immortal lock after this. Start two. We got Marv, Michael Wilson, and Knight. Ooh, so you got to play two Cardinals players. God, I don't like that at all. Marv is a definite for me. I'm gonna go Marvin Knight. Just because Marvin Wilson are going to be going against each other. You don't want that in your lineup. I'm going to go Marvin Knight, and what I'm going to ask of you is if this is the correct play, give me a follow. Follow me. All right, so here we go. My mortal lock of the day. If you saw the Tea Time Tailgate last week at the Great American Beer Hall in Medford, Massachusetts, shout out to them for hosting me and the coach. You saw what was a big time blunder. I was 8-2 with my mortal locks going into that day, and I had a pick that I fucking hated, that I wanted to throw up about. And sometimes those picks that make you want to throw up, those are the good and the winning picks. That was not the case. I had J.J. McCarthy to cover 6.5 points against the division rival last week. He put up one of the worst performances that you could possibly do at the quarterback position. They weren't close to covering. But I still have a great record here. I'm still making you money on my mortal locks. I'm 8-3, 8-3, 8-3 in my mortal locks. And I said to myself, I need to get right for this one. I need to take this one very seriously, or else we're starting to skate. We're going in the wrong direction, and I cannot do that to the Tea Time faithful. As you know, unless you live under a serious rock or you are unplugged from all of society, we are in the month of November. What do people do during the month of November? They do no shave November. That's why I got the mustache on. This is a look that I grew into loving. I'm loving the mustache right now, but because of that shitty pick, because of the cold streak that I've been on, and because tomorrow is December, I need to rid myself of what used to be Kamala Harris style. I need to rid myself of all the bad. We're getting rid of this, and as I tell you, I'm shaving live the mustache on Tea Time Tailgate as I give you my mortal lock. So, when I think about things that are going to make us money, I think about games that I see more clearly than others. I think about things Yep. I'm a new man. I needed to rid myself of that because I needed to give you guys the correct call here. When I think about things that I see more clearly than everyone else, I think about going against Vegas. I think about when Vegas makes a mistake. And because I want to be all over that, you can't be perfectly right all the time if you're Vegas. And I like to exploit you when you're wrong. What you did today was a mistake, and I'm going to take advantage of it. You put the over-under for the Titans and Jaguars at 41 and a half. These are two shitty defenses. Have you seen the way that they've been able to score? I know that you want to try to trick and confuse us. You want to try to trick and confuse us and give us a low line and say these two teams stink. They're not going to score points. As a matter of fact, they are. My mortal lock, the Tea Time Tailgate mortal lock for Week 13 is the over in the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tennessee Titans game. Over 41 and a half points. And that's how serious I am about it. I get rid of the stash because I want to do the right thing for you guys. This is not about me here. This is about you and your wallets. Let's get rich together. You first, me second. All right, let's finish this day with the fantasy start and sit. You want to start Darren Waller. He's coming back off of IR against the Saints. He's going to get a touchdown today. And then also someone who's coming back from IR. I can imagine if you are in a precarious situation with your tight end, you need 8 points. You need around 8 to 10 points. Brenton Strange will get that for you today. And this is a guy that you've been motherfucking all season long. This is another guy. You've been motherfucking all season long. And the reason being is because you drafted him so high, you went out on a limb, and he's been fucking you. But this is a guy with a new offensive coordinator. They're going to want to get him the ball in the right spots. We like Ashton Jeanty today. And he is going to be your starting lineup. Secondly, we're going to the fantasy sit. I only have one fantasy sit for today. It's Rico Dowdle on the Carolina Panthers. They are going to need to throw the ball because they're going to be so down in this game. And the Rams have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They're going to want to they're going to force Bryce Young to throw the ball. They're going to crowd the box because they know Rico Dowdle is the best player on the offense. They're going to want to make Bryce Young throw the ball. Do not play Rico Dowdle. You need to look elsewhere. And that is going to be it for the Tea Time Tailgate this week, Week 13. For anyone who's in the chat, for anyone who's a tea timer, I love and appreciate every single one of you. This is one of my favorite things to do every single week. I have so much fun doing it. And hopefully I can get you guys some money. Follow this mortal lock with me. Tennessee Titans, Jacksonville Jaguars, over 41.5. Mustache is gone. We are moving on. We are moving up. We are ridding ourselves of what used to be. We are winning today. We are winning today. Say it with your chest. We are winning today. Thank you for everyone being here. Thank you to the Tea Time.